Okay, welcome to Gen X Medic. Time to talk about things I don't like talking about. This time it's personal. It's professional. It's stuff that's happened to me. It's stuff that's actually been me. Going to cover some professional stuff. But in reality, we're just going to talk about things that are really awful. So understand, unlike most of my videos, this will not be published immediately. The reason is I'm going to talk about some things that are going to affect others. And I want the two people most affected by this to have the ability to watch this and make sure it's okay. So Tom, M, if you approve this to be viewed, I appreciate it. But if you decide not to, I get that too. So we're going to start with just the me stuff. That's the easy part. Back in 2005, 2006, I was in a really dark place. Hardcore depression. Probably some PTSD. Definitely it just hit that point. And if you've been in EMS for long enough, you know that point where it's like, nothing's right. You don't get enough wins. And even when you do, did you really matter? Things don't go the way you're supposed to. You know, I mean, there was a point I had a 45 in my mouth. It's not a good place to be. I don't recommend anyone else going there. I literally was jolted out of it by a family crisis. During that time, I went from crisis to crisis. I mean, that's what kept me alive, was bad things happening, or, you know. And by all rights, I had no right to be bad being at that place. None. You know, from the outside looking in, I was married. Was respected in my job. I didn't get paid the best in the world, but I mean, that was EMS at the time. You just didn't get paid a lot unless you were lucky enough to be in certain agencies. But I was working my way there. I mean, I was good at what I did. But you know, I was well known as a crap magnet, cleaning it up for YouTube. A lot of this will be cleaned up for YouTube, or odd phrasing will be used. So, I did my thing. I went from crisis to crisis. Things got worse at home. I mean, wife didn't understand. I mean, she didn't understand how things would get to you because she wasn't involved in EMS at the time. You know, I mean, those aren't you don't know those people. I mean, but yeah, you do. You actually get to know your patients in some very intimate and weird ways. Protocols were outdated. I was getting to the point that I really was starting to realize how outdated they were. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of what it was. Bounced around a couple of jobs trying to find things better, but nothing helped. Got a new job, completely different atmosphere. job where I wasn't involved in making 911 calls or transfers. I was basically paid there to be a first aid station unless things went all kinds of south. Great company. You'll never hear me say a bad thing about them. Then I fell apart because I didn't have my crises anymore. My marriage about ended. Lots of reasons there. Some my fault, some not. Got some help, patched things up, figured it out, got through that. When I had to come back to be a street medic, I was healthier. Wasn't quite right yet. That was a long time coming. Took some more counseling, surgery. We're going to talk about that at some point because health and EMS is another subject I've got a lot of passion about. But I also know that mental health is a major issue. From the you don't feel appreciated aspect to, hey, some days the job's just god awful. You know, I want to do some more escapism streams and stuff like that to deal with that. But it's still rough. So, you know, I got through those hard times that were personal, that were career related. I'm actually in a pretty good place right now. A place I can't complain about too much. It's got its issues, but yeah, it's not bad. I mean, to the point I honestly will tell a lot of my coworkers they don't realize how good they've actually got it, which is fortunate for them because I've seen how bad it can be. So that's gonna, once you learn that, then you start realizing all those calls you've been on. See, those things affect you, also affect other people. And your actions are going to have effect on others. I always tell people when they ask that stupid question, you know, what's the worst thing you've ever seen? Like, you wouldn't understand because it's not what you think. Most people who get involved in EMS, they're perfectly content and understand and accept that you're going to have the shootings, the stabbings, the car wrecks, all that blood, guts, gore, even working cardiac arrests. I mean, you know, that's not the stuff that's going to really, really get to you. I mean, it'll wear on you after a time, but it's when there's nothing you can do. That's something that people forget. It's when, because if you're an EMS, you're always someone who wants to do something and get out there and get involved. You want to make a difference. And you get there and this person's dead. And then you start pronouncing people, and then you realize what the true effect of that is on somebody. See, the reality of all this is, when you do this, you're taking someone's family away from them. I mean, they're already gone, but you're the one who gets to deliver the bad news. You don't get to euphemism around it. Sometimes you don't even get to say that you did everything you can to try to stop it, because there's nothing you can do. And you can't say you did everything you could because you didn't do anything. And that's a really hard place for people in EMS to be at. Like I said, we tend to attract certain types. You know, and most of those people are either the people who want to actually just see all the bad stuff, and you get the people who just want to be the people who actually impact stuff. And when you're the one that wants to make that impact and you can't do anything, that kind of weighs on your soul. Now it's time to get to the hard part of this, because see, most people in EMS, they don't get to tell you what it's like to be on the other end. The one whose family received that bad news, it's Tom, Em, and Emmy's husband Chris. The rest of the family was impacted, but each of these three, this hit them harder than anybody. I mean, it hurts me. Some of the things I'm going to talk about. So this is where I want your guys' approval before this goes live. So, it's early 2003. And I'm sitting here, sorry, it's 2023. My mistake, I don't cut out my errors. I'm not one of those people. So, 2017, the odd year slump started for me. I had to make a tough decision. A decision that was forced on me by doctors. Doctors, small town doctors who were really cowards when it came to talking to family. So my father had dementia. Lived a rough life. Hard decisions had to be made, and they wouldn't tell my mom, my brother. I just get this phone call, my dad's really sick in the hospital and they're about to transfer him out to a big city. And our brother, mom, and dad live in a small town. So I'd go, get off my motorcycle, get in my car, because this was not a time to be on two wheels. I went over and stopped the process. My brother and mom left it in my hands because they trusted me, and they figured, hey, he's a medic, he's a pretty smart guy, we'll trust him. So I asked them what's going on. They told me. And they wanted to ship my dad 2 hours away with dementia for treatment that they weren't going to approve once they got there. I mean, they're not going to give a rare med to a guy with dementia and a pacemaker and a whole host of medical problems. So I stopped this and like, have you guys even talked to my mom about this? Well, no. Like, yeah, stop this. We're not sending my dad out of town for this. He has poor quality of life anyway, and he's not going to recover. So I had to make that decision to put my dad on hospice. Not a fun decision. That would change me. Changed how I looked at things so much. Had a few instances I'd be on the Harley, be out rolling. I'd pull over and cry. I mean, if you know me, I come a love of motorcycles from my dad. I mean, Dad started riding when he was fairly old, and just got the bug and just rode till he literally couldn't get on the bike anymore. You know, when he got to the point he couldn't hold it up, he got it triked and just kept on rolling. Dad lived. We had issues. Had a lot of problems between me and my father, but we worked them out. So there's that. I was dealing with that. Then come April 2019. So we're going to talk about it. Lydia, I miss you. My niece was 15 years old. She'll always be 15. She made a decision. She made a decision I'll always regret. Her father will always regret. Her mom will always regret. The whole family will always regret. That decision, very intentional, took her away from us. The infamous self-deletion term, because it doesn't trigger the YouTube bots. See, I knew she had some problems and we'd talked, but I didn't know it was that bad. That place is dark. You don't think anyone cares, and more importantly, you think the worst thing they can do is care. Then you lose your family. You lose someone you care about. My brother-in-law lost his daughter. My ex-sister-in-law lost her daughter. My ex-sister-in-law's husband came into my world. I understand this man's a good man. But, I mean, he's, from all accounts, a great anesthesiologist. I couldn't have asked for anyone else to be there. I kick myself. I always will. And this isn't something that's unique to me. I know our parents are the same way. I know my wife's the same way. And we all wonder, you're not supposed to. Like, you couldn't. But guess what? I'm human. So are they. So I got to find out what it's like to be on the other end. We went to that service. Got to meet the crew, did the things they did. Got her back for a little while. It was too late. That crew did an amazing job. Everybody that did everything did an amazing job. We still hurt. We'll always hurt. Christmas is always going to be a little shorter. One less person. Woods, if you can hear this somehow, know I still love you and I miss you every day. be honest, I'm glad I'm making this video before I'm monetized, because this ain't for money. Then there was April 2021. We lost my sister-in-law. Trust me, odd years suck. Odd years have been really bad for me and my family. So my sister-in-law, we still don't know exactly what happened. Way too young. 4 kids, 4 fun, charming, full of personality kids. Great husband, one of the nicest, most chill guys you'll ever meet. Understand, I hit the jackpot when it comes to in-laws. You're never going to hear me say a bad thing about them. Damn near 20 years of marriage. On our roughest times, they never treated me bad. They understood that marriages are going to have problems. So let me tell you about Jess. I told you about Liz. Jess was a mess. You know, we all know that person who just, when they walk in the room 10 minutes late with a smile on their face and you're just glad they're there. Her silly love of flamingos. Father-in-law has a cattle farm. She wouldn't eat beef if she didn't see the packaging in the trash from the grocery store, because she knew those cows. So understand, all your actions are going to matter. The first responders who've been involved in all these incidents, by all rights, did as good a job as they possibly could. And great EMS, great fire EMS. I mean, you know. But understand that your actions are going to affect a real person. And I want you all to know, if you made it through this much longer than I wanted it to be video, you matter. You make a difference. And there's people who love you. Reach out to me at genxmedic@gmail.com if you're having issues. I'll respond. I check that email fairly regularly. I'll help you any way I can. I've got some more things I'm planning on doing with this. But if this reaches some people and helps them understand that, hey, it's okay to get help. No, it's not okay. I want you to get help. It's not just okay, it's recommended. Remember those people that are close to you. Sometimes when you get that stupid thought to reach out to somebody, it matters. And in the end, you as a person matter to somebody. I guess I got to do the YouTube things, the like, share, subscribe. Please do that. Obviously I'm trying to build something here, but this is a subject that's near and dear to my heart. I'd like to revisit it sometime and maybe get a guest on and we'll do an interview. Heck, hopefully get us so we can get live streamed and figure out a way maybe we can answer some questions. I don't know. Guys, this is Gen X Medic. Thank you for your time. I'm signing off.